Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And, today we're tackling something pretty personal. Someone's journey out of pornography addiction.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack their experience, try to pull out any insights, for those maybe facing similar struggles.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a topic that I think carries a lot of shame with it, so it's often not talked about very openly.
Right.
But this individual's story offers a really raw look at the challenges and, ultimately the potential for recovery.
Yeah, and our source here is a firsthand account that they shared online.
Okay.
And what really struck me was how early this whole thing began for them. They talked about accidental exposure to explicit content when they were just 12 years old.
Wow.
It makes you realize how easily young minds can encounter this stuff and how impactful it can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at that age, the brain is still developing its understanding of relationships and intimacy and things like that. And so early exposure to pornography can really distort those perceptions. It can create a skewed view of what healthy sexuality looks like.
Right. It's like laying a faulty foundation.
Yeah.
That could impact relationships for years to come.
Exactly.
And in this case, it led to this gradual but pretty steady increase in use.
Yeah.
Starting with maybe watching twice a week.
Okay.
But escalating, especially during lockdown,
Right.
to multiple times a day.
Wow.
And I think that escalation really speaks to the addictive nature of pornography, right?
Yeah, I mean, it triggers, a dopamine rush in the brain,
Right.
which is our reward system. And, it creates this cycle of craving and compulsion. Over time, the brain actually rewires itself, to seek out that reward, leading to, even more use and dependence.
Right. So it's not even about the visuals anymore. It's like chasing that feeling.
Exactly.
Right. And you mentioned how this can lead to, neglecting things that's, they once enjoyed.
Yeah.
This person talks about losing interest in hobbies. Their schoolwork suffered.
Right.
They felt constantly fatigued, even trying to compensate with intense skincare routines, almost like trying to fix the external, when the problem was internal.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I mean, it's like they're trying to regain a sense of control over their body when they feel powerless against the addiction itself, There's this disconnect between the internal struggle and the external attempt to fix it.
Yeah.
You
What I thought was really interesting was how they stumbled upon this concept of semen retention as a potential solution.
Okay.
They were hoping for better health and well-being, even just clearer skin initially, but it seemed to become this turning point.
Interesting.
I am curious, though, semen retention, it's a bit of a debated topic.
It is, yeah.
So what can we really glean from their experience without, endorsing it as this, proven thing?
Yeah, I think it's crucial to separate their personal experience from scientific validation.
Right.
However, their story highlights a common thread that we see in recovery, and that is the need for an anchor.
Okay.
A motivating factor that helps shift their behavior. So whether it's a scientifically proven method, or even just a personal belief,
Right.
that anchor can really provide this focal point for change.
Right. It gives them a reason to fight.
Exactly.
To strive for something more.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't just a straight line to success, right? They
Right.
described these intense urges and relapses.
Yeah.
There was even a point where they relapsed 8 times in a single day.
Wow.
That must have been so discouraging.
It's tough, and relapses are, unfortunately, a common part of the addiction cycle.
Right.
And, I think it's important to understand that willpower alone often isn't enough.
Yeah.
The brain's reward pathways have been altered.
Right.
It takes time and effort to rewire them, and this is why seeking professional help can be so beneficial. Therapists can provide strategies and support that are tailored to the individual's needs.
So it's not just white-knuckling it.
Exactly.
Right. You need the right tools and support.
Yeah.
But there was this point, though, where things kind of shifted.
Okay.
They described this moment where the regret they felt was stronger than the urge. And they chose discipline over that immediate gratification.
Right.
Which seems like such a critical turning point.
Yeah, that moment of, choosing long-term well-being over that short-term pleasure often marks, a significant shift in recovery.
Right.
And it suggests, a growing awareness of the negative consequences.
Right.
And a desire for something more fulfilling.
Yeah.
It speaks to the power of introspection.
Yeah.
Honestly assessing the cost of our choices.
Instead of being driven by impulse, they're starting to make these conscious decisions.
Exactly.
It makes me think about what you said earlier about the brain's reward pathways being rewired.
Yeah.
Is this a sign of those pathways like starting to shift back towards healthier
It's
patterns?
certainly possible, as someone makes conscious choices
Yeah,
that align with their values and goals.
right.
They actually reinforce new neural pathways.
Interesting.
And over time, these new pathways become stronger,
Right.
making it easier to resist those unhealthy urges
Right.
and engage in behaviors that promote well-being.
So it's not just about stopping the bad habit. It's actively building, new, healthier ones.
Exactly.
And that makes me think about the positive changes that they describe after making this shift.
Yeah.
They talked about this surge of energy, this renewed passion for connecting with nature, with loved ones.
Okay.
It's like they could finally engage with the world in a way they couldn't before.
Yeah, like the fog of addiction has lifted. And they can see the vibrancy of life again, And this often comes from, a combination of factors. Dopamine regulation is returning to a healthier state, the psychological benefits of self-control, and a renewed focus on, activities that bring genuine joy,
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It's like rediscovering these colors you forgot existed. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses, wasn't it?
Right.
They mentioned struggling with confidence. Yeah. Especially around women.
Okay.
Even after all these positive changes from quitting.
That's a crucial point. It highlights that breaking free from addiction
Right?
doesn't magically resolve all underlying issues.
Yeah.
This individual had, anxieties and insecurities that needed separate attention.
Yeah.
It's like tending to the soil after you've cleared out the wheels.
Right.
You've removed the main obstacle, but you still need to nurture the ground for healthy growth.
And they were honest about it, which I think is important.
Yeah.
They described feeling nervous,
Yeah.
unsure how to approach women despite wanting that genuine connection.
Right.
It's a reminder that recovery is multifaceted.
It is absolutely. We're complex beings, We're not just dealing with like these isolated issues.
Right.
It's common to see these interconnected challenges,
Yeah.
requiring patience in this multifaceted approach. Think of it as peeling back layers of an onion,
Right.
You address one layer,
Right.
but there might be others beneath that require attention.
And it takes time, right, to relearn social skills, rebuild confidence, believe in yourself again.
Exactly. It's a process, and acknowledging those struggles is part of it. And it's in those vulnerable moments that we often find the greatest opportunities for growth.
That's true.
And this is where therapy or support groups can be immensely helpful,
Right.
providing a safe space to process emotions and develop those coping mechanisms.
Yeah, speaking of feeling challenges, remember that friend that kind of showed them explicit content as a test?
Oh, yeah.
They said they felt absolutely nothing. No interest, no desire, just this detachment. It's like they'd broken free from that mental and emotional hold.
That's a powerful indicator of genuine change.
Yeah?
It's not about suppressing desires or becoming emotionless,
Right.
but about reclaiming control
Right.
over your mind and your choices. And it highlights the power of neuroplasticity,
Yeah.
which is the brain's ability to rewire itself by consistently choosing healthier behaviors.
Yeah.
You literally reshape your brain's responses to stimuli.
It's not just willpower, it's rewiring at a fundamental level.
Exactly.
They described feeling like a child again, not in like an immature way,
Right.
but with this sense of wonder and joy that had been buried. Like they rediscovered that innate curiosity and zest for life.
Yeah. It's a beautiful image,
Yeah.
reconnecting with your authentic self, unburdened by the weight of that addiction, and that newfound clarity allows for a richer experience of life. They mentioned finding contentment, just sitting outside, connecting with nature, simply being present. This speaks to the profound shift that occurs when you're no longer chasing fleeting external validation, but finding fulfillment from within.
Yeah, that resonates far beyond addiction,
Absolutely.
It's about finding fulfillment in those simple joys, not chasing these external sources.
Exactly. True fulfillment doesn't come from fleeting pleasure,
Right?
but from cultivating self-love, connection, and purpose.
Right.
And it's a message applicable to all of us.
Yeah.
Regardless of our challenges, we have the power to choose our path, break free from those negative patterns, and create a life aligned with our values. It's not easy, but as they eloquently put it, the pain of discipline is far less than the pain of regret.
That is such a powerful statement.
It is.
It speaks to the courage it takes to choose a different path, even when it's difficult.
Yeah, it's a choice we make every day.
Yeah.
Do we give in to instant gratification or hold out for something more meaningful?
Right.
This individual chose the latter, And their story is a testament to the transformative power of that choice.
It is such an inspiring story. It makes you think about the choices we all make and how they shape our life.
Yeah.
But, choosing a different path isn't always easy.
Right.
So how can someone listening who's maybe struggling with similar issues
Yeah.
find the strength to start making those choices?
Well, I think it begins with recognizing the need for change.
Okay.
And then envisioning the life you want.
Hmm.
It's about acknowledging that you deserve better,
Right.
that you're capable of more.
Yeah.
That vision becomes your compass,
Right.
guiding you towards a brighter future.
Okay.
But vision alone isn't enough.
Right.
It's about taking action, even small steps,
Yeah.
and celebrating those victories along the way.
So starting small, building momentum, acknowledging those wins.
Exactly.
I imagine having a support system can make a huge difference as well.
Absolutely. We don't have to do this alone.
Right.
Sharing your struggles with trusted friends.
Yeah.
Joining a support group or seeking professional help can provide invaluable support and guidance.
Right.
Having people who believe in you
Yeah.
and remind you of your strengths can be incredibly empowering,
Right.
especially during those inevitable moments of doubt.
Sometimes just knowing you're not alone in the struggle can make all the difference.
Absolutely.
And it takes courage to reach out,
It does.
but it can be that first step towards a more fulfilling life.
Yeah,
And it all comes down to taking that first step,
exactly.
even if it feels terrifying.
Yeah. And you know what I find so inspiring about this story is that they didn't just quit. They actively sought out a better life.
Hmm.
They faced their challenges head on
Yeah.
and ultimately redefined what happiness meant for them.
Right. Their journey embodies this idea that true transformation often begins with confronting our deepest fears and insecurities.
Absolutely.
It's not about becoming perfect or erasing our past,
Right.
but about embracing our imperfections
Yeah.
and using them as fuel for growth.
Exactly. This individual didn't shy away from the messy parts of their story, and in doing so, they found this level of authenticity and self-acceptance that just radiates through their experience.
Yeah.
You know?
It makes you realize that facing those difficult truths about ourselves can be the catalyst for real change.
Yeah.
It's not about ignoring the darkness,
Right.
but learning to navigate it and ultimately finding that light within.
Exactly. And that journey of self-discovery, while deeply personal, can also inspire others,
Right.
By sharing their story, this individual offers a beacon of hope for anyone struggling with similar challenges.
Yeah.
Their vulnerability becomes a source of strength, reminding us that we're not alone in our struggles.
It's like that saying, shared pain is lessened, shared joy is increased.
Yeah, I love
Their openness not only helps them heal, but might give someone else the courage to start their own journey.
Absolutely. And, this deep dive has explored, the complexities of addiction, the challenges of recovery, and the transformative power of self-acceptance. So what stands out to you as the listener?
Yeah, maybe this has sparked some personal reflection, or you're thinking of someone who might benefit from hearing this story.
Right.
If there's one takeaway I hope you leave with, it's the belief that change is possible, no matter how entrenched a habit or how challenging the circumstance. There's always a path toward healing and growth. And it starts with that first step.
Right.
That decision to choose a different path, to believe in yourself and your capacity for transformation.
Yeah, and remember, the pain of discipline, the discomfort of facing those urges is temporary, but the rewards of freedom, self-discovery, and a life aligned with your values are immeasurable and lasting.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope it's given you a renewed sense of hope, a spark of inspiration, and perhaps even the courage to embark on your own journey of transformation. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of change.